in the blind today, we're going to go ahead and play a American Midrange deck. Now, American Midrange deck is a little bit weird because it's very close to the American Control deck, and while we have a semi-favorable matchup, I'd say about 60-40 against the American Control deck, the American Midrange deck, it actually goes up higher, even though it's almost the same deck. We probably turn into a 75-25 matchup there, I'd say. You can still totally lose to it just by getting Bolt, Snapcaster, Bolt. But the chances of it are lower, especially with the fact that everything has 3 toughness, and they're using cards like Is It Charm instead of like Lightning Helix, and that they're using more Remand-esque spells rather than counter spells. So it only delays you. They're trying to sort of just swing in with one Geist of St. Taft and win the game. But the problem is pretty much everything you control blocks Geist of St. Taft and survives. So if they've used up their mana and they've tapped out for the Geist of St. Taft, you've got a very good chance of just winning the game. The only differences between those two decks are, again, like one's more tempo-esque or mid-range-esque, while the other one's more control. It's hard to tell the difference apart. You can, like, even you'll see in this matchup, I had a hard time. I thought it was Twin, the first matchup, because it was playing kind of like this tempo game with American mana. But like the big things to use there are basically just to apply pressure. You're gonna want to keep being the aggressor there. Boros Charms are good because they help against their removal, and they really lean on their removal to like out tempo you. So if you can even void out one removal, let alone any form of like Anger of the Gods or Mass removal, it's great for you. And that's basically the matchup. You just keep up as much pressure as humanly possible. Oh, we have a great hand here. Okay, cool. So we're playing second. I got a good hand here with 2 Noctills, a Bolt, 4 mana. I generally prefer to see 3 manas in my hands, but I can't complain when I've got 4 and 2 Bolts. 2 Wild Noctills are great. They are Bolt on a stick, though. They are the green Bolt. That is true. Celestial Colonnade is coming into play tapped. Does that mean it's a control deck? Who knows? Probably means it's a control deck. Or it's a mid-range American deck. I mean, it's pretty much all the same cards, with the exception of one attacks with the Geist and is a little bit more proactive, while the other one's a little bit more reactive. Same deck. Not really. Different forms of attack, but almost the same deck. 60% same deck. 60%. Different mindset. I don't know what he's thinking about. Dropping a yeah, so America. Miracle. Hey, look at that, Is It Charm. That's definitely something you could do on a on my Wild Noctill right now. It's a fragile Wild Noctill. Not fragile anymore. I'm actually gonna go ahead and put Dad out there and crack it right now. 4 tapped. So that Is It Charm doesn't happen again. If it's Is It Charm, I don't think it's a control deck. Is It Charm is definitely something that American Twin uses. But this hand isn't the worst against American Twin, because if he taps it down to tappy tap, I can still Path to Exile it. If he tries to go an all-in combo kill, then that's fine. It looks like he doesn't have the combo kill, the combo breaker. If he doesn't have if he came into unplay tapped. Words not using, having, nope, no words. If he tapped down the land, then that means he probably does not have the twin. Otherwise, it wouldn't have come into play tapped. Or I mean, Colonnade would have come into play tapped. And if he was just that's the mana base he was left with. I doubt it. They usually have like, yeah, stuff like fetch lands and whatnot. Oh, I didn't play my Curd Ape. I'm an idiot, that's all. I'm just a freaking idiot. Got a Loom Line this turn. Maybe he's got no way to deal with Wild Noctowl. That'd be really funny if he had like nothing but counter spells, and that was it. I would laugh my buttocks off. You can totally bolt here. That would be stupid that he waited for me to attack to bolt. Especially if I'm running like zoos are pretty much running Gore Clan Rampagers in their deck now. You could also be bouncing it back with a Cryptic Command, thinking that's how you're gonna do it. Is it Charm? You can't really do anything with Is It Charm. Oh, I guess you can because it's an instant, sure. I'm gonna just go ahead and bolt this thing. Because if he wants to counter it, then he can't play the Is It Charm. So that's fine. I mean, the best thing he could do is basically be like, alright, my Snapcaster's dead. Is It Charm to dig? Now I know he's got a counterspell in hand, so I think we just offer him the counterspell at this point. And he can't flash in anything that I'm worried about, so I'm not going to go ahead and leave that untapped. I mean, he can remand, which would kind of suck. But remanding, I don't think he had a remand either, because if he remanded it, then I would just go back to my hand and it wouldn't be a big deal. And I'm okay, yeah, remand is fine here, because then I can just play the Curd Ape free form. I guess I could have held the Sacred Foundry and went and offered the Loom Line, let it get remanded, paid 2 life, and then put it out there. I'm just bearing in mind that this deck is also a tempo deck, so my life total does matter a teeny bit. Teeny bit, just a little bit. He's got 5 cards in hand. He's got a lot that he can do. Unless it's all, like, tempo stuff, and he's, like, considering, like, can I go for the combo next turn? Maybe he's got Swan Chong? Splinter Twin costs 4. He's got the 5th land that I know he can Swan Song on me. I think they run at least 2 Swan Song main, if not, like, Spell Pierce and stuff, to protect the combo. I mean, he's paying for life. He's got it. If he ends it, then he's gotta have that. And I can, if he does have that, Spell Pierce, I think, says that I gotta pay 2. I think I wait for his turn. Electrolyze. What? On me? Or are you gonna, like, try to Is It Charm? I guess he's got an Is It Charm for, like, my Wild Noctowl. Right? 1 for that and then 1 to me. Or 2 to this? Sure. I guess he does have an Is It Charm at that point. To kill off my Wild Noctowl. He's really worried about that Wild Noctowl. I mean, he took 2 damage to basically stop my Wild Noctowl. And it was on his turn, too, so that's fine. That means I've got a free and clear attack with a Loom Line backup. And a Curd Ape. And a Curd Ape. Because I think if we know how much our stuff is correctly, Spell Pierce makes me pay 2, so if I got 1, 2, I've got 2 mana backup. I also, he could have Remand as well next turn. Although I don't have to worry about it this turn at all. No, so I'm just going to go ahead and play my my stuff here. I'm going to go down in life. That losing his Snapcaster was pretty bad on his end. He really was counting on that to work for him, but instead it did not. And he like basically lost CA. He just casted something that blocked. That was pretty irrelevant. It bought him some damage, sure. But we know he's twin now. I mean, there's no way to not think he's twin. He's got twin stuff. I didn't see any twin pieces, but I'm assuming he's twin. Choke is awesome here because he showed me a crap ton of islands. Combust is good because he's playing blue creatures and white creatures regardless. Anger the Gods probably comes in against twin. Since this isn't a straight control deck, I take out the Domri. Probably also going to take out the Helixes. They're fairly useless in this matchup. I mean, they do help, but they don't win me the game. And I think I actually take out 2 Lightning Bolts as well. Combust is basically going to do the same work that the Lightning Bolts are doing, only better. My Paths are pretty good. My Boros Charms voids that Anger the Gods that I'm sure to see. Now I'm not sure if I'm willing to bet that I'm gonna have Boros Charm to go against Anger the Gods right away, so I'm gonna have to play a funny dance around the Anger of the Gods this game because he's gonna be on the play, meaning that he can if I do my 1 dude, 2 dudes on turn 2, then he can just wipe the board. So I might have to do something like a 1 dude thing. I mean, it all depends on what's in my hand. There's a chance I just see top-heavy stuff. Boros Charm's good, so for Anger the Gods. Also, I like the Tarmogoyf here, so I'll keep. Tarmogoyf will survive Anger the Gods. Hopefully. What I think I'm going to end up doing is probably casting Tarmogoyf after I've got the ability. I'm gonna probably do Wild Noctowl and Loom Lion and see if he wants to trade 1 card for 2 cards. That's fine. It's definitely in his favor at that point. And that way when I have the 3rd mana out, he can go ahead and think he can Anger of Gods and get rid of my actually not gonna do it for that one. He can think he can Anger of Gods basically with all 3 of my creatures out, but I'll have the Lightning Bolt that I can cast in response, which makes my Tarmogoyf live. So I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. Now again, this guy is only a 2/2, so he can go ahead and Izzet Charm it. And he Izzet Charms it, I think that means he doesn't have Anger of Gods in his hand. It's just what I assume at this point. He's cracking it, so I think he's got the Izzet Charm to schnacks my Wild Noctowl. Maybe I should have played the Loom Line first. But I wanted to make the bet that he didn't have the Izzet Charm. Now you have the Izzet Charm, that's fine. It shows me that he doesn't have the Anger of Gods in his hand. But it also means that I've got the clear to play the Tarmogoyf right now. So here comes Stomping Ground. And it puts out Tarmogoyf now. Tarmogoyf is big enough to survive Anger of the Gods. The only thing he can Anger of the Gods is my my Loom Lion, which at that point I could just Boros Charm if I really wanted to keep it, and have him be tapped out for the turn. What has he got here? Path to Exile? Like if he wants to use a Path to Exile on my main phase, or on his main phase, it's fine with me. Maybe he's got Burn. He has not seen a Gore Clan Rampager yet, by the way. I think I put out the Verdant Catacomb here so I can get a basic Forest if I need to. So that way if he Anger of the Gods ever, I can get that. Well, if he Blood Moons, that's what I'm actually more afraid of, is the Blood Moon. I'm gonna give it a second. Make him think that I got the Gore Clan Rampager. Maybe he wants to wait for a path. Doesn't wait for a path, that's fine. Pay the mana. Thank you. You library. I'm gonna go ahead and get my basic Plains out now, just like I planned on doing. And playing my Moonline. Being able to play against this deck is way more important than it is against a lot of other decks. I mean, because they're being proactive and trying to 1-for-1 my cards. I can get out under it if I go first, while they don't have mana. It'd be kind of funny to see him Anger the Gods here. Because that would mean he's got... Oh, so he's not a twin deck. Okay, so it was good that I didn't put in my my stuff there. That's fine. I guess he thinks that he can just outspeed me at this point. So he's not gonna run Blood Moon out there then if he's got that creature. Geist is Saint tapped. And what I'm gonna do is gonna annoy the crap out of him. I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna crack it for a... He's not gonna wipe the board. He doesn't have any ability to wipe the board. I'm gonna crack it for a mountain so I don't take any more life. And I'm gonna cast a bunch of things that he's gonna be really sad about. Gorklan Rampager, when not using Pump, can just become a really big blocker. And even if you were to Path to Exile my Gorklan Rampager right now, puts him down one card, and I also go ahead and can block it with a Loom Line still. Not to mention, he's at a pretty low life total. He's at 4. I can I can just not double strike it. I can use 4 and 3. Brings him to 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that kills him. If he like taps out to do something that's irrelevant. I get board wipe. I went ahead and put my board state down. I'm hoping he doesn't board wipe, because that would mean he's up cards. But if he doesn't have a board wipe, which he shouldn't because he's got the Geist of Saint Taft, I can up the ante. I'm just gonna go ahead and double block here. There's no reason for me not to double block. And if he puts out another Geist of Saint Taft, that's fine. I kill his Geist of Saint Taft, even if he has a removal spell, like 1 bolt. Sure, he does 2 damage to that, sure. Which means he could go ahead and bolt it, but then I'm not too worried. Or is it Charm It? That's fine. That means he's not casting anything worth mentioning. You can Path to Exile as well. I mean, if he had Snapcaster, I don't know why he just didn't snap Path to Exile. Seems like it would be a better play anyways. We got a crap ton of burn here. I wish I drew something of action rather than that. But, that's fine. I mean, even if these Loom Lines beat down just a little bit, they're bringing him to his knees. We've got more than half of his life total right here. I'm gonna put it into play tapped, so I got no reason to not to. I mean, he can Anger of Gods, but if he Angers of Gods, that means I know he's really desperate, and I'll use my Boros Charm to keep my Loom Lines alive. He's at 5. Geist of Saint Taft isn't going to be enough to really pull him out of this. I can Path to Exile one of my guys. As he's keeping up a bolt. Sure. I got a Path to Exile for his Angel token. Go ahead and offer him if he wants to do it now. Make him think I've got a Gorklan. I don't, but he can think it. And that brings him down to basically 1 point away from dying. I got a Path to Exile. What I'm going to be using my Path to Exile here for is his Angel token. I can't target the Geist of Saint Taft, so there's no real reason to. But it can target the Angel token, and that's what does most of the damage. So if he attacks with the Geist Saint tapped, I'm very close to winning. If he doesn't attack, then I just probably have the win. Because that means he's trying to leave up stuff to block with. He's got 4 cards in hands. I'm not sure what he's doing here. Maybe he thinks he's gonna like wipe the board and reset after this because that was a bad attack. And if he does, then we've got a ton of damage waiting for him. We've got 4 plus 3. Boros Charm looks like that's probably just it. Yeah, I mean, that Boros Charm just drew it, and then he tried to go ahead and preemptively take my Vendilion Click. Or try to click my hand. So that, yeah, the burn just finished it out there. So that was the American Midrange, American Tempo, American Geist deck wins, whatever you want to call it, matchup. It's pretty easy to win, honestly. You just apply the pressure if you've got it, and you'll probably make them crack. It's not such a great deck against you, as much as it seems like it on paper. But if you need to make it better, because you've got a lot of American control or a lot of mid-range on your butt in your FNM, here's some cards that can make it a lot better. You've got Grand Abolisher, who is probably one of the lesser-known sideboard cards. It's really only good against a very, very controlled heavy meta. It basically means that you get free reign to do whatever you want on your turn. And it's a bear, so it can attack as well. Luxodon Smiter, in those metas, it's better than Neither Revelry. Neither Revelry is better in a vacuum. But Luxodon Smiter can't be countered, and that can out-tempo them sometimes. Thalia is really, really good against them, too, because it makes all their removal bad. All their counter spells bad. It makes pretty much everything they play inefficient, with the exception of Geist Saint tapped, who is bad without any removal or counterspell backing him. Vexing Shusher is really, really good when you're basically facing nothing but blue counterspells. It's also an old sideboard tech, not super used right now. Blood Moon is something you're more likely to find in your sideboard. You can choke. Both of these are basically their land hate on their lands. Boros Charm is great against any of the Anger of the Gods. A lot of versions are running less creatures and more just focusing on like two clicks and 4 Geist Saint taps, and they use things like Anger of the Gods. And Boros Charm gets around that. Combust kills all of those creatures with the exception of Geist Saint tapped, but some versions are more creature heavy and will be running things like Kitchen Finks in the sideboard, as well as Restoration Angels. And it hits Click as well. Vines of Vastwood is better than Charm in this matchup because they will most likely bolt you. And Vines of Vastwood, if like they crack their fetch to go down to 17 in order to bolt your Noctail, that's when you Vines of Vastwood in response to it, and you're like, good luck, you're now down to 10. So I killed half of your life on 1 turn. Domray, if it sticks, basically means that you never run out of gas, and constantly threats them with an ultimate that says, my top decks will just kill you. And Molten Rain's a weird one here, but it's a good addition, especially in the mid-range matchup. It makes your short game longer, their mid-range longer to get to, which is better for you. It deals damage, and it can color screw them out of red, their bolt color. So it's important to have. It also makes it so that things like, if they include a lot of blue heavy cards like Cryptic Command or Click, they might not get to it. So that was the American mid-range matchup, and remember guys, feed the animals. Beard, 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 beard.